Today we're going to be talking about how to audit a new client account to increase sales.
So one thing we talk about a lot is obviously everyone wants more sales and a lower ACOS, but it's really important to work with your client or with your account to really prioritize what is most important. Because if you try to do all of these actions at once, chances are there's going to be too much going on. So when it comes to getting more sales, there's definitely different tactics than the ones we would use to lower your ACOS. So let's talk about where to start.
So one of the main things is just, have you actually done keyword testing and discovered keywords? Now you can discover keywords through automatic campaigns, broad match, and phrase match. If you are not doing broad match and phrase match testing and you would like to spend more money at the current ACOS, that is a great thing to add on, because then you could discover some of those new keywords, transfer the volume over to the exact match, and at the current ACOS, increase your sales.
If you were to implement that strategy, we recommend keeping your broad and phrase match separate from your exact match, meaning either in a separate campaign or a separate ad group. So that way, once you actually transfer the keyword to exact match, you're able to negate them where you were testing, and that just frees up more budget to be able to get through testing more quickly.
Another thing to try is some additional advertising methods. So for example, there are sponsor brand ads, there's store spotlight, headline search, sponsor brand video ads, sponsored display ads, and within each of the sponsored display are multiple different targeting types. If you are maxing out what you can get with your traditional sponsored product ads and you have not tried sponsor brand video ads, for example, that could increase your sales dramatically, potentially also lowering your ACOS, but it's important to focus on one at a time.
Definitely. And one thing I like to do if I see, say, product targeting work really, really well in a sponsored product ad, I like to launch a sponsored display ad with those same product targets that were working well in the sponsored product ads. Now, you can't always use product targeting, with the sponsored brand video, maybe that'll be released, but there's definitely opportunities to take what was working in your sponsored products and then expand that into the other ad types.
An additional thing to try is some of the category targets. If your automatic broad and phrase match keywords within sponsored product ads are not really bringing you in the volume you're looking for, you can definitely switch it up and start doing casting a wider net through a category target. Then you could take that category target using the Campaign Studio, link it up to a ASIN exact match, so to speak, and actually start targeting new ASINs that maybe your automatic campaign had not discovered.
One of the last and easiest things you can do is actually use Solozo to just slightly bump up your ACOS target and allow the system to just incrementally increase bids where you had previously been having success with the ACOS.
Now, if you do have some ACOS flexibility, one additional thing to try is a top of search ranking campaign. Now, this can get extremely expensive very quick. If you're unfamiliar with the top of search ranking campaign, Chloe, what exactly is that?
Yeah, so that's a campaign where you essentially are bidding as high as you possibly can in order to ensure that you're always winning that very top ad spot. So typically you like to run the campaign just for one keyword, maybe a select handful of keywords, but you are really calculating how much you need to spend per day to win that top ad spot to get as many sales as you can in order to improve your organic ranking.
We don't recommend this for beginners in any way, or if you're trying to lower the ACOS. This is not a short-term play. This is a long-term play. How exactly you set this campaign up is actually taking the keyword you want to get organic ranking for and putting in a rather low bid with a very high top of search multiplier. What that does is it essentially tricks Amazon's algorithm into thinking you have a much better click-through and conversion rate on the keyword you're looking to get organic ranking for. And so since they see that your specific product is getting a higher click-through rate and higher conversion rate on this keyword, you will move up organically. Of course, with a couple 100% top of search multiplier, you could be paying very high cost per clicks, and the ACOS can get very expensive. So this is a long-term play to get your organic sales higher, and maybe that would lower your total ACOS, but certainly not in the short-term near future. At the end of the day, you can see how many units are being sold on a particular keyword, and then you can calculate, can I actually afford to do a top of search ranking campaign? Now, we'll do a whole series on top of search ranking campaigns, but this is definitely a powerful but expensive tool to utilize.